Hello, everybody. Here we are, and I figured out what the echo was. I was playing both my local and my YouTube channel all at once. We're going to have Aage Yost on with us tonight. He won't be here for a few minutes, so Lala and I are going to entertain you. And isn't Lala looking beautiful tonight? I mean, you know, she's just fabulous. Oh, wait a minute. She'll be here in a second. So we're going to entertain you for a few minutes while we wait on Aage to show up. So I thought I would just start off by showing you some of our stuff because we have lots to show. And Lala and I can tell you what's been going on. She's getting a really big show together this coming weekend for a festival where she'll be doing all sorts of art, face painting, tattooing. It'll all be fun, and she's good at it. So let me go ahead and put this up so everybody can see. Many of you probably have already seen this already, but that's all right. Let's see what it looks like. Let's make it a little bigger. Yeah, so this is out back in the field towards town. We live in a isolated, gated community that's a mile off the road, and behind us in a little forest. And we were sitting out in a truck in the middle of nowhere. There's Cassiopeia. Down here is the Big Dipper, and here's the North Pole star right here. So anyway, we saw these things flying through the air. Lala got 4 of these, and I got some on the other side. And then this is one of her famous weird things that fly by our camera. She loves these things. I have no idea what it is. And this is another view of the same thing we had before. And this is one of her interesting craft. See a flash in the sky, find the frame in the video where the flash occurs, and there's a craft. So it's like it flashed in from wherever it came from, hung around for a second, and then flashes out. So we get this all the time. Here's another one. And this is way up there because this is the middle of the night and it's being lit by the sun. So it's way up in the sky. And this is it 2 weeks later, rotated 90 degrees, this time with a triangle, checking it out. And this is one of her rods. And we're out in a park about 2 miles from the house, and we get these things whipping through the park and on our camera. Just wild. And this is back earlier with those things over near the road. Oh man, this one is the one I really do love. So this is a little fuzzy because it's poor resolution, but anyway, this is our neighbor's house. This is a tree just this side of the neighbor's house, and this is the neighbor's roof. But a light goes onto the roof, and we see what looks like through the roof, and these things here, and we just think that they've put some kind of beam on the roof and opened it up and gone inside. We have other ones where it looks like they're carrying them out. It's really wild. And that's 150 feet behind our house. We've never told the neighbors because we don't want them complaining that they have weird people living behind us and them throw us out of here. We have a pretty strict homeowners association. Another one of these craft in the sky flash. Look at the frame. There you go. Uh-oh. I don't know why that's that way. Let's find something better. Okay. Where are we? Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Okay, so I slept really late one morning. Really too late for me. You see the sun is in the window. And Lala gets up and says, look at this bruise on my arm. It's triangle-shaped bruise. And I've slept too late, and I feel a little groggy, and we figured she would. And 2 days later, see how deep that bruise is? And 2 days later, no sign of it. So we figured that something was done to her in the middle of the night while I was kept asleep. And that's it. And so this looks to me like a spray hypodermic done by an air pressure kind of shot where they injected something underneath her skin. Okay, this is back where we took the other pictures of the things in the sky. We were sitting in our truck. This is a field. Sitting in our truck, and I noticed the ground lights up all around us, so I take my camera and put it out the window and click toward the sky, and it's still dusk. There's the sun at sunset. You see clouds, and I caught this massive orbit, whatever this is. Right in, I really got lucky. And you see my arm is moving because you see these are a little fuzzy. They're almost in focus, but not quite, because my arm was moving out the window to catch it in a hurry. And this is us at a local graveyard, and this happens like every time we go over there. And this is the light from down the street. We're not making that light. So, what can I say? This is in color, so you can tell it's with the iPhone. And here we are back over in that field where we had the colored beings. This is our gated community back over here, and we see these things flying through the air. Kind of weird. This is back in the graveyard. I need to organize these things so they work better. I think they're getting sick of me. You can come on in now. Okay.
You can move it up now. Up. Left. Right. Oh. Right there.
Okay, so you see the meter goes up like to 197, and it'll play through again. She gets this pain right in front of her pineal gland in her brow. And I wondered if it could be detected by a trifid.
Right there.
Here it hits 197, and it's set to RF. You see that button right there, set to RF. So that is a transmitter inside her skull.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of wild.
Right.
She's fun to live with.
Right there. We found it.
And we have no idea what it is. We haven't gone to get an X-ray or anything. She has had the one in her leg scan, and it's a little implant right next to her femur in her left leg. It's the size of a grain of rice.
Right there.
We don't know
Right there.
what it is. We haven't bothered to try to find them. You won't be able to hear this because this is not the one where I amped up the video, but it'll play over again. So it's in the dark. Something walks through, turns on the light. You'll see a little motion right there. And right here, there's a clear electronic voice phenomenon talking to another member of the household. And that's when we knew we had stuff going on around here. And here's another one of these weird ribbons in the sky. The truck was parked right where the other weird things were caught. Have no idea what that is, but I mean, it's still light. You can still see color. So I don't know what it is, but this was caught on my iPhone. And this is one from our security camera, and I have no idea what that is. But it looks a little weird. You can tell it's moving fast from this way to that way. This is a video. I'm trying to figure out why it's in here. Don't know. Oh, there it is. That's the light right there. So we'll play it again in a minute. But here, I'll go back. And the thing does that business and whatever, and then gone. We have no idea what it is. We have made sure that it's not light coming from our side houses between the houses, and it can't because there's trees that block the view between every house. So whatever it is, it's above the houses shining on that roof, and it's just wild. We've seen things up here in the sky above this before doing this. And we have no idea what it is doing, but we haven't bothered to tell them. We don't want them calling the people on us. And these are the things she loves to see in the front yard. That is my weather station. This is the lamp on our driveway. And here's me out with a telescope, and there's my Starlink satellite antenna. This is that neighbor's house right here where we see stuff, and you can see these things flying all around. And it's kind of chilly. It's not really summer, and because you can see I'm in a long sleeve sweater to keep warm, and that's my telescope. I think we're looking at Jupiter. And we don't know what this cloud is, but Lala had a good time with it. This is like the cloud where she saw a craft and got chased by military helicopters and had missing time. That's a wild story. She and her best friend were out riding around and saw a thing like that, and inside of it was a UFO. Watch right here. Right here. Blink. Let's play it again. Right there. So I walk by. That's the sun. I walk by. And right behind my head. Blink. No idea what that is. But it's not the sun lens flare because they don't blink. We just know it's something odd. No idea what it is. I don't know what this is. We see these things flying by all the time. I can't tell you how many of these we've seen. This is our bedroom. Ignore the mess. And we get these orbs flying through here all the time. All the time. This is a lot of sweeping back and forth over something that flew by our cameras in the back. No idea. That's an airplane, so don't get excited. We're on the northeast corridor flight path between Boston and Washington, D.C. that light over there on our neighbor's house goes off all the time when stuff is happening up here. But I don't know. Oh, yeah. This one is, okay, this is, she saw a flash. This is, the video's playing, so she's done a screenshot on her phone and notices this and enhances it, and there we go. This was the flash that got us to look at this. And shape of a cross and whatever that is, and metallic looking, and who knows. I mean, I've never seen a craft that looked like, but it's a craft. It's up there a long way too. Just wild. Whatever that is, I don't know. I like it when they go zing zang and then flick through over here. I don't know. These are less interesting than some others. Let me go over here and find one. Oh, yeah, these are interesting. Another one, flash. Zoom in till you see the craft. There's a triangle. These triangles are often around these things. You just make out the triangle and this thing is in focus. It's got structure to it, holds ports in it. And this craft, that looks like two beings inside of a door. I mean, I don't know. Oh, yeah, right here, she's going back and forth so you can see this flash. Right in the sky above the weird neighbor's roof. And she feels them and talks to them. Sorry, these aren't better organized. And this is a night when we were out and man, the sky was full of stuff. No idea. I don't know what these are. They're interesting. And this is another one of these. Oh, that's the same one. This is zoomed in a little. You see the triangle and that craft. We need to go through and clean these up. And this is the same thing turned sideways. So this is not the same night. This is the same thing turned sideways and on another night. That's the reason they're together like that. Yeah. She loves it when these things happen. No idea what they are. That's the original. All right. Let's see what we do next. You almost ready? All right, come on in. You're enough. Okay, we were out in a park about 10 miles from here, and she points the camera up at the sky, takes 7 pictures. 6 of them are full of stars, and one of them is this. So we put it up on social media, and shortly after that, a woman from Michigan sent us this photo with this little guy in it. So you can see the similarities from this grid pattern. And we have no idea what this little guy is. 2 eyes, a mouth, chin, arm, and something in its arm. Wow. And right here, you can see something come out of that porthole. So we went and looked at that. We zoomed in later. Let me find it. I don't know why they didn't together. Sorry, this is disorganized. Oh, yes. Let me look at this one. This is one of my favorites because this is in front of the house toward the south. And we get these little things, craft flying by, and you can see all the structure in it. And they always have this kind of flat piece and something looks lit up. And then this other structure, and no propeller, no noise, no rocket exhaust, no jet engine, just flies by reasonably fast, but not ridiculous. And we get these pictures. It looks like somebody doing reconnaissance. Who knows? This might be the video where she got it. Let's just take a look at it. No, I don't see it. Sorry about that. But this is kind of our life. We sit there. Oh, here's that porthole, and you can see that's some kind of craft coming through that hole. Who knows what it is? I know I don't. And this is my favorite photograph. This is another photograph taken with the same fancy camera, and it's a little difficult to see, but it has that same kind of pattern. And that happens every now and again. We don't know what it is. And this is my favorite critter. My favorite critter. 2 eyes, big almond-shaped head, pear-shaped head, what looks like a nose. There's its head. And this is an orb. That's not anything else. Because this is taken pointed at the yard behind our house, not at the sky. And it came and talked to her later. Hey, babe, it's time, okay? I like this triangle. And we were out at that graveyard we showed you earlier, and I thought the moon over the train railroad crossing guard was neat, and she decided to take a picture, and that was in the picture. And later on, oh yeah, I don't think we have the one right next to it. No, we don't. Anyway, later on, there's another one, and it had moved over here. Just kind of wild. And look at this thing. Oh, it's too small. Never mind. Sorry about that. And here's another one of these things. This was mostly out of focus. And what is this? I mean, wow. Who knows what that is? It's just got structure in the sky. And this is interesting. That's floating in the sky in the daylight over our neighbor's house. So let me look and see if Aage's here. Okay. All right, I give up. So we're waiting on Aage to show up. He should be here in about 5 minutes, and we'll do a little better job of entertaining you then. I hear the hairdryer blowing. She's got to be close to ready. We knew we were going to have to kind of delay and fill the time for a half an hour till Aage can get here. He is in Europe, and we're not. So we had to do the best we could at arranging a schedule that worked with him. He had another deal he had to do. And you're not sick of me, Marty? Oh, that's good. Anyway, we could go through these. We have 1,000 of those photos. And I just like to show the ones that, oh, there's Aage. Hey there. Can you hear me? I don't quite hear you.
Yep.
Oh, I hear you. Okay, got you now. Aage, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I just don't know any other way to do it. So I'll just keep doing that.
You know, you're a busy fellow, and here's Lala. Your timing was perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, where's your cohort? I see an empty chair there.
Yeah. It won't be empty for more than 5 seconds because here she is.
Okay.
Hello. Sorry.
There she is.
I was trying to fix my phone.
All right.
Yeah, she takes a half an hour to fix her hair. She loves every hair to be in the right place. Look, even though she's as beautiful anyway, she does.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming on, Aage. We've been Facebook friends for a while. We haven't really interacted, but you're constantly doing lots of stuff. And so, yeah, you are. You're very, got a lot of interesting things going on. And we want you to tell our audience about you and what it is you're doing, how you got into all of this, and let's talk about Anunnaki or whatever else you want to talk about.
Yeah, they're it's kind of like this all rolled up in a ball and there's strings hanging out of it. So you just start pulling on a string and then it all comes undone and then there's stuff coming out that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, well, so that's kind of, be honest with you, that's kind of our experience. We don't ever quite know what's about to happen next. On the other hand, we don't need to wait long because something weird happens here every day.
Yeah, that's good.
Every single day.
Keep it that way.
Exactly. We're not bored.
Yeah.
On occasion, we get tired and have to take a nap.
Yeah.
Because we occasionally stay up all night long, too many nights, and need to rest for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Especially when we get clear skies, which is not often.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching what you did before I came on here and about some of the pictures and the videos of the UFOs and flying things, and there's some interesting stuff there.
And raised opening up our neighbor's roof, and you can see inside the house and see them go in and out. And sometimes they look like they're carrying one of them out, like doing an abduction. It's just wild. It's wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw there was a pretty good sized telescope there too.
Yep, and that's not even my big one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now, speaking of that, here's something that a lot of people don't know, and that is that if you want to see UFOs and goofy things every time you go outside, get your hands on a 4th generation night vision goggles, because they can see higher up into the light spectrum than we can. There you go. There you go.
The psionics opsin. Yeah, the psionics aurora is about a 3 or 3.5, but that's a 4. You cannot believe how deep into the sky you can see at night.
Yeah, then you probably may have heard then what happened over in Iraq during the second money-making trip that the Bushes did. I mean, the war. They gave out the 4th generation night vision goggles to the soldiers. And the soldiers came back with reports saying that, no, we don't understand. When we have the night vision goggles on, we see people out there. We take them off, they're not there anymore.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
So they pulled their night vision goggles away from the regular soldiers and just left them with the officers. And they told the officers, whatever you see, you don't see.
Right. Yeah, I've heard about those glasses. I'd love to get a hold of a pair.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So my question is, I got a pretty searching mind. What did they actually see? They may have been disembodied entities that were dead physically, but then again they could be other things too, because they also saw animals once in a while, and they saw things that should not be there because it wasn't physically. What were they? What do you guys think?
Well, that's the cradle of human civilization over there where they were. So could be humans from a long time ago or some other entity that was involved in our upbringing when we were childish early humans. I don't know what it is, but the stories are pretty wild, Aage.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
It might have been other dimensional people. I mean, because there's always things around us we just are either taught at birth that we can't see it or they're not real. Because our minds are powerful tools. We can trick ourselves into believing they're not there, So I think it's interesting. Some saw demons, didn't they? Or something that looked like demons.
Yeah.
That's what I think I read. Or just something scary that they weren't used to. So they thought they were demons.
Yeah.
Well, every time they saw something in the goggles, they couldn't see with their eyes. They were going to be afraid. These are boys and girls, 18 years old, and not experienced in all of this stuff. All they know is they're in a war, trying not to get shot.
Yeah, and some of the pictures that you showed before I came on here, that those balls of light moving around. My impression of that is that it is conscious, because some people say that they can communicate with them, where they tell them to go over there, and then the ball of light moves over there.
Did you see the one where she sticks her hand up in the air above the bed? When she does that, they fly in and out of her hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had a friend, John Yost, who was a movie maker about experiencing, passed away from pancreatic cancer. And we kind of were talking to him, and this gigantic orb showed up in our garage and did all sorts of stuff, and moved around in front of our camera and had features on it. I couldn't quite make out a face or anything, but we felt it. We knew it was him.
Yeah.
When you say consciousness, is that different from a spirit orb? Is a conscious orb different?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because I think it may be several things. It could be disembodied entities that has made it up the spiritual ladder, so to speak, for a while, so that they have the capabilities of taking on lower vibration forms, so that we can communicate. And maybe they're not quite ready for us to see their physical form, but they may be able to do things like this. Now, there's another story too. You probably have heard of or know Jerry Wills.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, he's a 7-foot tall guy. He is actually he is an alien. He was dropped off here as a baby, and he grew up on Earth. And he have had contact with his actual parents and the people at the home planet, and he met some people down in South America. They were going up to some place way out in the wilderness, and they were going there in a bus, and he went up on the top of the bus. They were sitting there because it was warm and the wind was coming and stuff, so it felt good up there. Another guy crawled up on top there with him, and they got to talking. And he said, that other guy said that, we know who you are, Jerry. You are one of us, and we are from the Pleiades.
Wow.
And Jerry thought, yeah, sure you are. Of course you are. Everybody is. Well, and the guy said, well, I can't actually prove it to you. He says, we will meet you later. They had a conversation, and the guy that came up, he reached for his belt, and he touched something in the little box on his belt, and the guy vanished and turned into about a blue ball. And that ball just left.
Wow.
Now, when Jerry told this, I'm pretty sensitive about things. My skin just totally started coming alive, because there was something here that resonated with me. And I totally believe Jerry, because I know him really well. I've been at his place. We've had some really deep conversations. And he has phenomenal healing abilities that people normally do not have. So he is kind of a special species of human, but he wasn't born here. He was born somewhere else. And he met up with this guy later when he proved to him that he could move from one spot to another spot in a matter of a few seconds, and it was almost a mile apart. So wow. So there is something here that also can be a blue orb but it is technology.
So one of the videos I didn't get to. I wish you had seen it. We'll make sure you see it later.
Yeah.
Right, the camera's looking out back, and the big orb comes flying down from the sky and goes thunk and lands on our deck and stands up. This energy humanoid reaches up and grabs our camera, moves it to a different direction, goes back down to the orb, and then takes off. That we have that entire thing with audio and video.
And also, we're part of a orb club, and everybody keeps talking about blue orbs and how they wish they could get pictures of it. I mean, it's a big topic, you know.
Yeah, we're in Grant Cameron's orbology group.
I always thought it was neat. What are your thoughts on orange orbs? Have you ever heard any information about that?
About orbs, what?
Orange orbs.
Yeah, orange ones.
Oh, I'm not sure. It is, first of all, let's go back to the source of things. It's consciousness.
Okay, yeah.
And consciousness can project itself all according to its level of developed consciousness. So if we are developing ourselves here in the physical as thought and mind created entities.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there are others, maybe an orb is higher level of consciousness than what we are able to interact with physically. So it gets really deep when you get behind this curtain. There's so many variables to it. But physics now are showing us that we do live in a mind-created universe.
Yep.
So what that tells us is that whatever we have in our mind, I pointed to the head and my heart both because there's two brains, one brain in the heart that also is hardwired to the brain so that we can communicate with the universal mind. But I think that some of us that is studying these things and immerse ourselves in it, we are accelerating faster into this belief that we are infinite. We just don't believe it yet, and that is holding us back.
Yeah. So I mean, even physicists believe that because the particles, as they view it, the particles in our bodies are created from quantum fields, and these quantum fields are the extent of the entire universe. So whatever we are like from all over with zero distance between us and anyone else. It's just we don't know how to motivate, move, capture, see, interact with things that looks like they're far away, even though they're right next to us.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know, we can see that there are more realities around us. I think most people listening to this, they have seen something that we call shadow people.
Yeah.
And you can see them right out of the corner of your eye, but when you look over there, there's nothing. And there's a reason for that, actually, a physiological reason because of that. Because the center of the retina in the back cannot, or should I back up? The periphery of the retina in the back can pick up higher vibratory light than the center can. So when you look over there, you're looking at it, the center of the retina. But you can see it here because now you're looking at it from the periphery of the retina. And this has been proven. So I think we can get the idea that there are other entities around. We are never really alone. I got people living here in this house. They're not paying rent, but I can see them.
Right.
But when I look at them, they're gone. I can see them pretty much all the time.
Have you heard Sasquatch has a belt with a blue ball technology?
Yeah. Yeah, they have some, at least some of them have some amazing abilities.
My favorite video, if you will, done by people who are very heavily involved in trying to interact with Sasquatch was
Mhm.
a flash of beauty paranormal Bigfoot. And it was the most spiritual, elevated consciousness frequency about whatever the Sasquatch is that I have ever seen. They weren't out there running around trying to trap them or grab them on camera. They
Yeah.
were just trying to have an interaction with them, one being to another. And it
Hmm.
was 2 hours of this. And our good friend Simeon Hine was about 20 minutes of this thing. It was really, really good. And
Yeah.
so it's clear to me these Sasquatches are multidimensional beings that take on that form for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, and then we have people also saying that they were watching the Sasquatch walking away and suddenly just faded out.
In this video, a woman who had her first Sasquatch experience, we saw that on the video. It was there, and then it looked like it turned into the Predator, an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with the flickering lights, and you could see
Yeah.
it, the warping of the thing as it moved through the bushes and took off. And it was an amazing video. It
Yeah.
was amazing. I really like that. I encourage everybody to look at a flash of beauty, paranormal Bigfoot. You can get it on Tubi.
Well,
So yeah.
think of it this way also. You we are telepathic being, but we have not taught ourselves how to use it. They Sasquatch, it appears to me as they are very telepathic. They should be able to pick up our thoughts, but they may not understand our language. So our language have to be mental images. If we project a mental image of them coming walking up to us, and we walking up towards them, and holding, there's an interdimensional sign like the Native Americans used, and that is hold one hand up. That is a sign of peace and recognition.
Yes, I don't have a weapon in my hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
But people could try this. The same thing with extraterrestrials. If you want to meet one, start visualizing yourself meeting them. But you got to give the mental image of the form that you want them to be, because that will go out to the telepathic part of the extraterrestrial community that is already in orbit. They're everywhere, even here on the ground. They will pick up. And when they get the mental image that you want to talk to somebody like, look like we do, all the others would leave us alone. We will make contact with the ones. And if you really want to talk to an extraterrestrial or associate with them, there's a method that is fairly simple to learn, and that is astral travel. It is not that hard to learn. I've done several videos on how to do that. And you can just, once you step out of your body, you look back at yourself and you say, oh, okay, I'm still in the bed, but here I am. Now you can put your attention to the sky. Visualize a ship. And then just go out there. And you could be drawn to where the ship might be. And then go up to it. But I would suggest, once you find one, and there's all kinds of them out there, you could find one. Go up to the wall and stop on the outside. You will get a feeling about what's inside.
Okay.
because the astral body can pick up higher vibration. If you have fear, strength, strong fear coming up, I would rather not go in. But if it feels good or neutral, go through the wall. And I know that works because I've done it. I've been inside of a ship like that. But when that happened to me, uh, I got in there and there were people just like me and they looked just like me, maybe a little taller, but they were just like me and they totally ignored me. I tried to communicate and they just looked at me and turned around and went on their way and did their thing.
Well,
They didn't associate with me at all. They just, so I was roaming around a little bit, but after a little bit, I felt like I was not really wanted there. So I ended up leaving. And I came back and I had the memory of it. And for those of you out there that are astro travelers and may not remember much about what your journeys are, there's a way to remedy that. And that is, see, the astral vehicle has no intelligence of its own. It is based on memory. So you, whatever you see and experience, you have to feed back to the physical brain and memory. And you do that through the silvery cord if you are traveling by astral vehicle. And that's very simple to know. If you look down and see a silvery cord attaching yourself to the physical body, you're in the astral vehicle, which you can. But if you see nothing, that is consciousness traveling. And then you don't really have to feed anything back so much because that consciousness has memory of its own. Does that make any sense? Or
It did. It did. I got my mic muted because my UPS is telling me to replace the battery with all that beeping. Sorry about that. It stopped finally.
okay,
no, I knew about the silver cord because I've astral traveled before, but I didn't know that if you look down, it's not there. Then it's a consciousness travel. I didn't know that.
yeah. Well, a lot of people can get out there and they don't see any silvery cord, so they say, all those people that talked about the silvery cord, they don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, but it's two different system of travel.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And once you are out there, if you see the silvery cord, you can also train yourself very simply to just go out by the conscious mind leaving. And now the conscious mind leaving the physical body, going out there doing things and experiencing things, is not the same as the soul, even though some call it soul travel. Um, yeah, imagine it could be, but it's not really conscious. A soul essence has consciousness. It is not the consciousness that has a soul. So it works the other way around, but the consciousness, once you're out there, you can travel instantly to where you are going. Well, it's a little slower than the snap of the finger because it'll take you a while to hone into where you're going, think yourself there, and let's say you wanted to go to the moon and have a good look at what is in the bottom of the Schrodinger crater. I'm mentioning that because get yourself a map of the moon.
Yep.
Get yourself, look up where you find the Schrodinger crater. And then if you can get out of the body, go there and see. You're going to find a huge long building that looks like a swastika.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
That has been there for millennia and millennia.
Oh my
And
God.
when the Germans built the Haunebue 2 flying disc That was an interplanetary craft that went there. They flew around the moon, mapped it, and they found this crater and what's in it. And they fell in love with it. Of course, they fell in love with it. It looks like a swastika.
Oh, I believe it. We
And
were looking at stars and we saw the cross. I mean, literally, you know.
Yeah, and on our website on broadcastteamalpha.com, I have pictures of that particular crater with the swastika in it.
Oh
Wow.
Okay.
So you can go look at it. You may have to scroll for a while. It's not that far in, maybe at least in the first 5-10 pages. So you can see it. Now, there is a movie out there also. It's called Iron Sky. You may have heard of that one. And that is where they show that we went to the moon and we found this crater with a huge building in it that looks like a swastika.
Wow.
Where do you think they got the idea for that in the movie? From the NASA print showing the building.
I never knew this. I never knew. That's amazing.
Yeah. Hal Povenmire told Chris Bledsoe about it.
Holy sh!
Yeah, because the Germans, they went there in 1942. It could have been 43, I'm not sure. But I've seen some papers where they talk about actually going out there, written in German, because it's out there. I have a lot of that on the website also. You can go look at the pictures.
What?
I can't wait to go on your website and look at all that stuff. I didn't realize there was that much stuff, that level of resources on there. I should have looked before now.
Yeah, it's I got 5,000 pictures in the picture gallery of things that should not exist, but it does.
What was in the building? Were they a type of? Do you know what type of species or being they were? Or
you mean in the building?
Yeah.
Well, it was dilapidated. It was pretty well. The roof was gone, but the Germans, they brought material from Earth up there and they rebuilt a section of it.
Wow.
They haven't rebuilt the whole thing because the whole building was over a mile long. So probably close to 2 miles long, looking at it from the size of the crater. But on the other hand, it was a lot to rebuild. So they rebuilt a section of it, and that's where they are. They have a base there. They may have other bases, but this one is entirely, let's call it old German. There's a word here that we really shouldn't use on YouTube, remember?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're there. And they're not the only ones up there. We have bases up there. And there are other species that have bases there. Most of what's going on the moon is inside the cavern of the moon. That's where the biggest part of what's going on up there is.
Yeah, they found recently. I saw a picture on some astronomical website. It was in the news where they found a gigantic entrance to a thing that they know leads to a massive cavern.
Yep.
And so it'll be a perfect place to build our first city or whatever if we send people up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that picture, I got it on the website, and you can. I've had that one picture for almost 30 years. That original picture of that the hole in the surface of the moon going into the interior, that was taken in 1968. Wow. When we flew around the moon and mapped it and took pictures of it. I've had it probably for 30 years, or back when I was in Omaha about 30 years ago. That's when I got it.
Oh my God.
So are you studying yourself anything in particular right now, or just having a bunch of experiences?
The consciousness of what helps us create everything around us. That is, a lot of my attention is going in that direction because that's what's important. We have a floor of understanding that is physical. When we understand that, yeah, all this desk is pretty solid to me, but when we think about what quantum mechanics is showing us on the blackboard is that everything we see around us is mind created. Think back, what does a mind create? Well, it creates mental images, it creates sensations, it creates stores memory and do things. So what is it then? Mentally, our mind does not create physical things. Can't do it. Well, it's there's an exception, hypnosis. But
Uh-huh.
Normally it does not create that. So everything we see around us is mind created. With other words, if we believe something strong enough, we can create it. Now there is a process for that coming into the physical, because once we think of something and intend for something to happen, according to the quantum mechanics, that falls into the theory of inflation. Quantum physics theory of inflation, not the inflation you're thinking of. It's another one. And that is when you think of something, intend for something, visualize it with emotion, you place it into the quantum existence. And it sits there as potential for physical creation later when you go back, attach to it, and start drawing it into the physical with you. That's what law of attraction is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can, I tell you what, this that which mind created universe is really hard to wrap our heads around. It's really hard to believe. How can this mouse and this coffee cup be mind created? It seems so real. Let me give you an example. And I think you can take that example and you should be a lot closer to be able to accept that yes, everything is mind created. I'm a hypnotist. I've been doing that for, gosh, 60 some years. Uh, I was taught by a magician that we do things that normally you don't read about in the textbooks of hypnosis. Rapid induction methods, when you take 2 seconds to bring somebody into a deep trance. There is ways to bypass the conscious mind just like that.
Wow.
Now, if I talk to you for 5-10 minutes and put you in a soft chair and I tell you that when I snap my finger and bring you back out, you will see that elephant that I've been talking about standing right there next to you. You can reach out and touch the snout on the elephant. You feel the rough skin. You hear him breathing and he doesn't smell very good. He is right there to you, absolutely real. But there's a problem. I can't see the elephant because there is no elephant there. And if you are on the 37th floor of an apartment building with no chance of the elephant getting there, you still see the elephant. Now, that elephant is absolutely real to you because you can feel him. You hear him. So what happened? Did your real world go away? Yeah, it did.
Wow.
I just was playing just a small part. You created the elephant. And I just made you believe that you could.
Amazing.
And
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
now let me just finish up this thread I'm on here, because now you see and you feel the elephant. What's the difference between the elephant and this coffee cup? Absolutely nothing. It is only to the degree that it is carried out. The holographic world that we are living is a lot more elaborate than your elephant. And
Mhm.
we have been taught since we were this tall that this coffee cup is real, this telephone is real, my headset is real, everything is real. And if you can't see it, can't smell it, taste it, throw it in the air and shoot holes in it, it doesn't exist.
Right. Right.
No, and we believe that. That's why it becomes real until we change our mind. And that's what we do sometimes, especially on the mastermind that Nori and I created. We have created rain out of basically clear skies in an hour and a half.
Wow.
Somebody was on their deathbed in the hospital, but with the, C-19, not the explosives, but C-19. And we kind of wrapped our mind around that lady, and we saw her walking out of the hospital. And at the end of that session, I kind of flippantly said, she'll be home tomorrow. I didn't really even think about it. The next day in the late afternoon, her husband called me and he said, my wife is home.
Oh my God.
And
Wow.
that was because we watched her walking out of the door of the hospital. If you ever been in a hospital, nobody walks out of the hospital. You can't do it because they put you in a wheelchair and they roll you out.
Yeah.
Now, she walked out. She didn't use the wheelchair, which is totally non-standard for a hospital, but it happened. Then there's many other things, like people with financial problems, they suddenly find the money and they think that this is what we can create if we go within and
Yeah.
we believe something strong enough and use the language, the spiritual language of the quantum field, which is not one of words, it is one of feeling, intention, vivid, colorful images, and knowing it is mine.
Interesting. Okay, so in your tell our audience, pick an example of a time you did an astral travel that you thought was particularly interesting, and tell our audience about it, please.
Oh, yeah, okay. The first one ever, the absolute first one, long time ago. I got out of the body and I looked back at myself and I thought, holy chocolate, I died. Here I am. I'm not in the body. I must be dead. It scared the crap out of me. So I hurried back and tried to get back in my body, and it didn't work. I couldn't get back in right away. I tried, laid down where I just snuggled myself back in, and finally I got back in. And then I realized that, wait a minute, I wasn't dead. This is what I wanted to do. The first one was a total flop, but boy, did it scare me. And I think most people will have that feeling, oh gosh, did I die? So don't worry about it. It is normal.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I've read Robert Moore's books from Monroe, I mean, books, and where he accidentally figured out he could travel, and then of course he made a whole life out of it with the Monroe Institute. So all the stuff is very, very interesting. So you and I have similar interests. Mine is from a slightly different perspective in that I'm trying to do some particular things with consciousness, and I'm following people over here who are doing, trying to figure out mathematical models for the underlying consciousness so they can describe how it works and make predictions of how it will work so they can go and test the things. So they're not there yet, but I think they're getting close. Once these things are fleshed out, I think you and I both know nothing will ever be the same once you can figure out
That's right.
how to connect science to this consciousness and turn it into one physical theory.
Yeah, your life will never be the same.
Yep.
And when you start talking to your friends about it, their eyes roll back in the head.
Oh, yeah.
And they turn around, stumble away from you.
that happens to me all the time, so I'm used to it.
Yeah. That's why you mentioned something here that I never talk about, and that is that you can get out, and what we are told, or many people say, is that in the higher vibration, time and space is not as we know it here, which is partially true. But in the astral worlds, we still have linear time and space as we know it. You got to get up into a little higher vibrations, possibly the upper part of the vibrations of the astral worlds, and the more, maybe a little higher into the divanic worlds. Once you get there, you are not bound by linear time anymore.
Right.
You step out of the physical into the astral world, and you visualize yourself into an arena where everything is bright. You can see things, but it's all bright. And I love that name, Lala Bright. That's got something good in that name. Once you get there, you can go forward, you can go backwards, you can see things in the future, and you can see things in the past. When I started out 30 years ago messing with time travel, I had a little black box that created a bioelectromagnetic field around me that we could use to go places. I don't use the box anymore, but I still got it sitting in a box over there. But you can do that, but you have to know what you're doing. You got to know, you have to anchor yourself in to a destination. And when you get into the higher vibration, curiosity, just curiosity, is not really a good reason to go anywhere, because curiosity is mostly selfish. It's for, what do I want to know? It has to have a, well, I don't know if it has to, but it should have a higher purpose. Like, what can I see that would help the rest of mankind if I talk about it? That is okay. But when it comes to the future, there is this safety valve in the universe that kind of gives you a tremendous feeling of hesitancy to talk about things that can be changing people's outlook of what they should do in the future that could interfere with their life plan. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if I knew that tomorrow I'm going to have a car accident and I'm going to be deader than a doornail, I would stay in bed all day tomorrow.
Right.
Yep.
I
So
have a question.
if it was, yeah, if it was in my life plan to leave tomorrow because I've done everything I came here to do, information like that could interfere with it.
Oh yeah.
So that's why when they say uh, going into the future and seeing things, it's a little tricky when you bring it back. There's a few things that I've talked about that I think could help mankind to get to the next level of understanding. And then I got tricked into talking about it one time, and since I did, I guess I have from time to time, and that is that we're going to into some very tricky times right now. Especially
Yep.
the next few months are going to be really severe.
Yep.
Can you kind of tell more, or if not, that's okay.
Yeah, there is plans being made for us that is not for our common good.
Okay. Yeah.
And that is especially this one guy running around the world saying that the world is overpopulated. We got to reduce the population of Earth. And he is the one that's going to save our lives by this thing we put in our arm, right?
Mm.
If you believe that, I got some swamp land in western Nebraska. You can go hunt alligators every day of the week.
Yeah, I'm not much of listening to the saviors of the world who
Yeah. There's,
don't give me a good spiritual feeling.
yeah, there's one more thing that I have talked about, and I haven't felt any bad about it, and that is that there's two big rocks coming out of the sky, and I have gone to look at it several times, and it's still there. I haven't been able to get rid of it in my timeline. And it appeared as it came down into the Atlantic Ocean, and there were big rocks that create tsunamis that would wash out
She has had that dream.
Oh no.
the coast of
Yeah.
both America and Europe and Africa. So that's, I have had the warning out there, and I don't know how serious people take it. And I think a lot of people out there, if you are totally convinced that it will not happen, if you bury yourself in that, you can create a reality for yourself where you would be in a timeline where it did not happen.
Yeah, I believe it. I do.
And that's what I've been trying to do. But for some reason, those two big rocks, I just can't, I haven't yet anyway been able to get rid of them.
Well, I have a question about dreams. Do you believe that we astral travel in dreams, and that other beings can visit us and speak with us, and that we travel other places?
Yeah. Yeah, there is also, we have extraterrestrial helpers,
Mm-hmm.
and they may be able to interfere in something like that,
Okay.
because they have pretty much promised us that there will be no World War III.
Yeah.
Not with the real big one,
Yep,
which another word we shouldn't say on YouTube.
it's true. Yeah, look, the world looks like it's pretty shaky right now, and so you have to hope that they're right.
Yeah, there's going to be some challenges probably up and beyond what we see right now, but in the end, it's going to be good.
Yeah, I actually have faith that we and other species are really pretty resilient.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, the United States and our NATO allies, they're talking about parking some ugly weapons back in Europe where they were no longer because of all this mess that's going on. So we're entering kind of turmoil times.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see us make it clear to the other side without there being a really ugly war.
Yeah, you can pretty much expect anything when you have psychopaths that only value they have is money and power, and not necessarily in that order.
Yeah.
That's the shame. But we have let them get into that position.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why it needs to change. And change is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really would love to see. So I kind of, pray for, or ask for, or talk to, or whatever, wish for, intend for a place here where we would stop feeling so divided and realize that we are all the same, and we could work out things a little bit better than we're doing now with all this constant wars.
Yep.
But I'm
Absolutely.
afraid, like you, we're going to have to go through troubled times to realize that we need each other and need to stop wasting our energy on making war.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about Anunnaki.
Yeah. Tell us about Anunnaki. Oh, a lot of we and a lot of our people are interested in that. That, and she's
Oh gosh.
she has an Anunnaki guardian
I don't know.
You mean this really, really tall guys?
with the hood. Yes.
Yeah, they're about 9 to 11 foot tall, and they kind of look like us, but the head's a little different. They got a lot bigger back in the head here, but otherwise they are on their path of development, and they had a common existence with us for quite a while. Some started all the way back about 200,000 years ago. And then we were together for quite a while, and then they discovered that we were a little too powerful for them and we were too destructive. So I said, oh, they took, that's a joke school, they took 2 Fakitols and they left. And they're coming back.
Yeah.
And now
we believe that.
Yeah, the Nibiru system. It's not just one planet; it's a system. There are 6 or 7 planets around a dying star that is about the size of 5 times the size of Earth, 7 times, and we have seen pictures of it. In fact, on Broadcasting Mouth, I got a picture on the website. But the telescopes, the Hubble telescope took a picture of. They found it, and also the telescope at Mount Graham in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
They have been that's owned by the Vatican. They have been looking for this particular thing, and many years ago, I got to know a guy that worked there, and I asked him, what did you find? I think I called it Nemesis, or I may not have used Nibiru. I may have, but I forget what I called it back then. And he says, yeah, he says, we found it.
Wow.
And I wanted to engage him in a conversation, but he didn't really want to talk much about it. He just said, yeah, we found it. So we know that if we run the numbers, it's on its way in. Because 3,660 years for a full circle. That's called a great circle. Or they call it SAR. SAR is the English translation. And it takes, one of their years is 3,660 years. or about that. And that's when in the Sumerian tablets they talk about Anu. He
Mhm.
made one comment in there. He said, I am old. I am tired. I have been around for three, I think he said three, no, a thousand stars,
Wow.
which 3,600, that's 36,000
That's
years.
30 million years.
Yeah. So, no, wait a minute. No, I think hundred stars.
That's
Yeah,
better. That's
that's
360,000 years.
yeah. So he mentioned that, and that if you read the Sumerian tablets, and I have read a lot of them, you can find a lot of them at the British Museum, but there's only what they have found. There's less than 30% of them that is translated. There's an
Wow.
awful lot that yet have to be translated. They, the Sumerians were tremendously good record keepers. They kept, I mean, if they went to the market and bought something special, they came back, they made a plate about it.
Wow.
Small things like that. And also their history. And part of our history is written out. We should go read that. Zachariah Sitchin, he had an awful lot of it. He may have a little bit of his own opinion thrown in the middle of it, because when they talk about something in the tablets, it is talked in general terms and kind of overview type of thing. So you have a room for opinion within there. So, but they're coming back. And if you look at what they created one species, but there are many other species here. Not all of everything that lives on Earth today was created by them. There are seedlings from space.
Okay.
The seedling of the Asians are from one place in space. The seedings from the black race coming out of Africa, that seedings come from Sirius too.
That's what I was thinking. Because yeah, I agree.
Because look at what the Dogon people, there's a book about that. They talk about 5,000 years ago, they came back to visit the Dogon people and say, how did you do? For, you know, we taught you all these things from way back and here you're still here. They actually asked them, why have you not advanced? But they were so comfortable with what they had that they were happy. And when you're happy, we really shouldn't question what they're doing.
Right.
I think happiness is what it's all about.
Yep. Spend more time on love and learning, the more we'd all be better off.
Yeah. But they're coming back, and I'm wondering what they're going to think. And in fact, there is a video. In fact, this is one that I seen, but I was not able to capture it. So I don't have it, but I've seen it. And that is taken in the space shuttle. Endeavor, I think it was. They had movie footage out of the back of the cockpit into the cargo bay. And they could see two astronauts back there, but one of the astronauts was not 6 foot tall. That third astronaut back there was well over 9 foot long. He was a third longer than the other two, third or even more longer than the other two. There are no astronauts that is 9 foot long.
Right.
So that had to be another species that was interacting and working with people, probably on a military expedition on the space shuttle.
So Cosmic Joe Chronicles has a question. Does the female rulers of existence actually control reality on Earth? I'm not familiar with what he's talking about, but maybe you are.
The female rulers of existence. I think they're a female ruler. I think there are rulers of both sexes. If you're thinking beyond the physical, then there is spiritually there is very little gender to speak of, only the one that you decide for yourself. We have had more than one life, so in a spiritual existence I could grab onto a previous existence where I may have been a woman and I could experience that, but I don't know exactly what he meant by that either.
I don't either. Aage, look, we're coming up on an hour, and I really want to thank you for this. I'm going to go to your website, and the three of us have not interacted enough, but I'm going to go to the website, and we'll do some more interaction because we have similar interests, and I'm just learning. I've only been in this crazy stuff for 4 years.
Oh God. I started when I was 10.
Oh my God.
But there's something here that I just can't help it. I got to show you. And
yes, please do.
This is, I wrote a book that's called Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking and How to Access the Universal Consciousness.
Oh, good.
In this book, I teach people how to use their mind in ways you normally would think would be impossible.
Okay.
If you want to get out of the body and have a look at the universe, let's talk about how to be, and also go to Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube and go scroll down into the videos. I did a 2-hour talk on astral travel, what it is, how it works, and how to do it.
Oh, I'll be anxious to look at that.
Yeah. And I also did a similar one on time travel. So, and also in here, I go more into detail, talking about anything from.
I have quite the library, and I love to collect good books.
Yeah.
Aage, thank you for being on with us.
Yeah, you just call, and I'll be back again.
Oh, good. We definitely want to have you back again. And everyone, thank you for being with us tonight. And go check out Aage's website and his books, and then we will see you next week.
All right. In